Good evening. Welcome back to the Opinion Box. Levi Kones is my name. I'm here with AMUNGA, AKHANYALABANDU. We are discussing matters to do with education. Of course, we started off the first half with the death of the late CS Professor Magoha, God rest his soul. And we've been talking about the education ministry and this buzz in the air about exams that just passed. And I was just asking you as we were going to break. You know, there are those who are saying, let's do another exam as they enter university and check. There are those who are saying, let's remark. There are those who are saying, let's do a forensic audit. What is your opinion? And do you think the ministry, and you know the minister has already said that, you know, as far as it's concerned, there's no problem. Should we go along with him and say no problem?
The minister
Should
knows,
we do these things? What do you think?
The minister knows what he's saying is not true. You cannot say there's no exam. Just the way we normally say there's no election that can miss to have one or two anomalies. There's nothing perfect. There is no exam in this world that you can do and say it was 100% perfect. So when the minister stood at Mutiani House when he was announcing the results and said, this is one of the exams, there is nothing that went wrong, that's not true. Because first of all, and the education cabinet, the parliamentary education committee chairman, Meli, was in the same meeting and he stood up and he said, Bwana Minister, we had issues with the examiners, the people who mark the exams. Let's start from there. They complained, and I want to tell you, my friend, I marked exams for almost 8 years. And I stopped because of the frustrations I found in the marking centers. The truth of the matter is that as long as an examiner, a person who marks those exams, is not well taken care of, they're sleeping on triple-decker beds at which our high school students sleep in. And these are people who are supposed to determine the quality of our exam system. I want to tell you, you don't expect quality results. Quality results are a collection of so many things that come together. The truth of the matter is, the irregular curve has been proved that this exam does not have the regular curve. Many of the schools that are being talking about, I don't have. I looked at the exam of Alliance Girls High School. That is a normal curve. Despite being Alliance Girls or Alliance Boys, they have a proper curve. You see the C's, you see the D. Despite this Alliance, there's a D. You also see the A's. Also the A's are there. True. Then you see the people in the middle. I want to say this. I believe this exam...
Even Kapsabet boys.
Even Kapsabet boys. It's a normal curve. Now, what I want to say is this. Let our minister eat a humble pie and call for an audit. And our universities need to think about some entry exam at the university. Because why I insist on that is because I know our Ministry of Education cannot try to do a forensic audit on the exam system.
What is the danger?
The danger is they'll expose themselves, first of all. A lot of things will come out. It's just like what you are seeing going on right currently. The IEBC are being, the commissioner, Irene Masiti, is being questioned, you know, of her role and everything. Then you discover so many things come out. You don't want to
and it comes out on both sides.
Yes,
you know,
both sides.
The sun shines everywhere.
Everywhere, because you discover that even Chebukati, as much as we have really been praising him, he also seems to have done a few things that were a bit irregular. He appointed himself the chairman. And we were seeing somebody saying, where in the law is it where you appoint yourself to the returning officer for the presidential? So when you do a forensic audit, you'll come up with a lot of things. Utaleta kwa Kilua tunaita tinyende, yani kutakuwa na jigas nyingi sana zitatokelea. So what we do, a forensic audit at such a time will discourage the country, will make us lose hope in our exam system. A forensic audit to our exam
But they said no pain, no gain. No, I mean,
no. When we try to do it, we have tried to do it even in the judiciary. It didn't bear fruit. Forensic audit doesn't bear fruit.
So what, because you see, here's the danger.
Yes.
Amunga. That if we have students, let's say, let's assume that, you know, that a lot of them are not questionable. But if we have any questionable results amongst them, then they move on to university level. They go and do medicine. They go do engineering. They go do, you know, one of those hefty civil engineering courses. Or even they go and study architecture. They are in charge of our buildings, you know, or things like that.
Very true.
And then for some reason they use the same
methods
method
and they pass
to pass through university.
They get certificates.
They get certificates. They are now graduates.
Yeah.
You know, or some of them are unable to cope with the coursework and fall in the cracks.
Yes.
Because even for a course like medicine, we hear, even for students who have qualified, you enter 100 students into a medical class.
Yes.
You finish when you are 45.
28.
Yes, if you are lucky, you're 45.
Yes.
But they sieve through every year. People are being doing supplementaries. They're doing second years. They're doing, they're redoing all that. It's not an easy course. That's the whole point. So how do we block that from happening if that becomes the end result? Because the end result is you get a graduate who's a quack. Who will operate you?
Yes.
Who will operate our planes?
Yes.
Who will do our, our structural systems?
I want to answer you by giving you a very short story about a personal experience.
Yeah.
Actually, my child passed very well in a school that does very well. Those days when exams were leaking. And when my child passed, she was called for medicine at Moi University. And I sat with the child and I said, I know you got an A. I know you want to go for, you have been invited for medicine. But do you really want to go for medicine? Do you think you are ready for this? You know what she told me? Dad, I'm not going for medicine. I want to go for fashion. I'd get another university. She didn't go to Moi University. I declined her to go to, because that time there had been, those are the years, she did those years when leakage was everywhere. It was even being sold in newspapers. So what I wanted to say is this. The only way to solve what you're talking about is an exam at university entrance level. It's like an interview. Schools like Kabarak High School, do you know what they do? After you pass your standard 8 and you want to join Kabarak, you don't just join Kabarak. The time you come to Kabarak, you are given another interview at Kabarak. You did your class 8 and you passed. But before you join Sacho High, Sunshine, these schools that we hear about that are doing very well in the Rift Valley. Yes, you sit an exam and the teachers mark. Then it is after that exam that now you are able to ingia Kabarak High School. So those results you see at Kabarak High School, it's not because of people just entered. There is some sieving before you start. So what we can do as a country, every department, faculty in the University of Nairobi, Maseno, Moi, you can decide as a faculty. Yes, we have admitted these students have qualified and have been sent to us. But before they join us, just an exam. Yeah,
but people will complain that, maybe because of time you've forgotten, a few things.
In fact, let me tell you.
You've been on holiday.
Professor George Shiwani at Kenyatta University some years back, when he was receiving us in KU some time back.
I remember him. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul in peace.
Yeah.
Do you know he sat us during the introduction time, and you know what this called induction or what time when you join the university. You know what he told us? Many of you cannot even speak English. I have called some of you to my office just to engage you. You didn't even know that I'm the vice chancellor here. But I tried to engage you, and I discover you cannot speak English. But you passed exams and you are here. Let me tell you.
How?
That is the question. How do they do it? And that is why.
And the questions are in English.
They are in English. And so how did you pass? You can't express it. You can't write a CV. You don't know how to write your address, your CV properly. You can't write it. But you are already in the university. So the issue is, let the universities not just trust our exams, which we do during, that allow us to pass to get the A's.
Double check. And if you fail?
If you fail, you don't come in. You go to look for another course where you can pass.
I can't believe you.
Yes, look for another course. There has to be a difference.
Zonga ukizonga.
Yes. Ukaukie mbele. But what I can say, Levi, is our education system has been good in terms of, there are some people who are genuine. Not all those people you hear about have stolen exams.
True.
I
read a story tell you of a lady who got a B.
Yeah.
And it was her second time doing it.
Yes.
And she is, an older mature student. Yeah. Yeah. And previously she had been a house help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was trying so much to get a good grade. Akupata the last time alipata D.
Yeah.
Amefanya tena akapata B. Anataka kufanya law.
Yes.
Yes. And alipata sport wa kumpeleka law school, akasema I'll take her to law school. And afanya mpaka mwisho. And that is a story of hope.
That's hope.
You know,
and
I read another one of sickle cell.
Yes.
A lady, you know, suffering with sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
Yeah? Who battled the odds.
The odds and made it.
And made it.
We have so many of those kind of stories. And, and the truth of the matter is that we have very resilient Kenyans. I know of Kenyans actually who are passing. There's a child in West Pokot who got an A of 83 points. You know, 84 is the maximum.
Yes.
In West Pokot, and when I was reading the story, the teachers were not even enough. Actually, some of these schools we're talking about, my brother, there are not even no teachers. There are no labs. There are no books.
Actually, I was thinking of the labs.
Yes.
You know, how are you expected to pass a practical and get an A?
And get an A, and they are getting. So I'm telling you about a boy in West Pokot who was in the papers yesterday, got an A of 83 points. So the issue of stealing exams now reaches a place, and I say, it's not possible all through, because there are some exams that are also practicals. And let me say this, Levi, I'm a teacher. If I gave a student who is not bright upstairs the exam leakage in the morning, I tell him, this is the exam, go and sit now and pass, that child will not pass. Our exams, especially for Form 4, are written.
Yeah.
They are not oral, they are written, you write. So unless another teacher comes, you know, some people impose themselves as students and they write for those students those exams.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You know, that's where my argument comes in. Actually, when I look at those exams, I ask myself, okay, I was in Form 4, and unless the exams have changed much,
yes,
they're pretty much the same.
Yes.
It might be a little bit easier to get away with the oral examination.
Oral, or this one's multiple choice.
Yeah, but in the practical exam,
now practical, like
we
talk
can't
about
all
biology.
get an A
we
in
can't
practicals.
Talk about
it's impossible.
Chem, talk about physics, practicals. Talk about even something like mathematics.
Yeah, we can't all.
Mathematics, you cannot, because mathematics doesn't mark the answer.
Yes, it's
they
a method
mark the
plus.
process.
Yeah.
They start with the process from how you started solving this equation to the end. In fact, the answer may have a little marks. The whole question may contain 25 marks. The answer down there may be 3 marks. What they mark is this process as to from how you started up to when you arrived at the answer. So our exam process is also not just very easy to beat and cheat.
I have to ask you something before you go. You know,
yes,
there was an argument about a teacher who was a head teacher at a certain school that's doing very well at the top. And apparently he came from another school that did very well, and another school that did very well.
Yes.
And they said, you know, this teacher is, you know, they were saying that this particular teacher is the key.
Yeah.
And I was asking you as a teacher.
Yes, that's me.
Is it the head teacher, or is it the system?
The head teacher is the system. a good head teacher.
We were the system.
When you and I were growing up, there was a school that used to be called Staré Boys Center. Did you ever hear of such a school?
It had...
Did you hear of a man called Griffin?
The famous guy. Yes.
Did you hear about him?
Absolutely.
The late also.
I saw him too, yes, the late also. He was buried inside Staré.
Yes, inside the school. Yes. In the chapel of the school.
Yeah.
Griffin's was Staré. When Griffin went, Staré died.
True.
Boaz Owino was the principal at Maranda High School. I visited him at Maranda High School. And I did an interview with him, which I wrote in my blog sphere. And that man had a way of managing children.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
We know the guys, even Khaemba.
Patrick Khaemba, he even became a PS.
Yes.
Now he's a PS.
Yes.
But he had become even an ambassador of a French school, Kamsinga. After he leaves, go to Kakamega High School, there used to be a man called Oliver Minish.
Yes, I remember him. He wrote plays a lot, Kwanza.
He write plays, he'll coordinate those boys, and they'll also pass exams. This guy in Dimuli you hear about, of Chavakali High School, used to be in Chavakali High School. Nowadays he came to Machakos boys. You know, a principal, in fact, my head teacher used to tell me, my principal used to tell me, a class is the class teacher. A house is the parents, a home that is. And a school is the principal. All the schools that you see passing is the principal. And I want to say this before, as I finish. I will not vilify the Kisii region for one thing in this exam that has ended.
Yeah.
Matiang'i.
Yes.
The former CS for Interior. For many of you may not know, he was also the CS for Education. He actually worked with the late Magoha, as Magoha was the person in charge of exams. And Matiang'i was a teacher like me also, before he became a minister. He used to teach at Egerton University. And before he went to Egerton University, he used to teach in class, a high school like me. So what Magoha did, Matiang'i, sorry, I keep it confusing those two names. Matiang'i invested in Kisiland, education. First thing he did, he identified schools where there are principals who had stayed in those schools and become local almighties. And viewers who are listening to me will tell you, there are some schools whereby some principals take them now, they become like their own schools. And they're not performing. Yeah. Teachers are drunk, teachers come late, teachers are, you even start hearing stories of pregnancies that are teachers even, yes. So a principal has stayed in a school for so long that he has become part and parcel of the school, and the school doesn't move. It's not moving at all. So what Magoha did, in his own area, he told those principals, he introduced a policy called delocalization. So he removed principals who are in his area who thought they were local almighties and took them to other places to go and experience there. And then he got also very good principals from other areas, like the one we're talking about, Boaz, like the man at Cardinal Otunga. These people did not, these schools have performed because of the principals. When Boaz came from Maranda, he came with the ideas of how to pass exams. Passing exams is not just stealing exams. And that's why I'm differing with so many people on social media. Cheating may be there, yes.
So you're saying it's much like a coach of a football team?
It's like a coach. You have a good coach, like the way Arsenal now have a good coach.
Yeah.
They will carry the trophy. Me and my Chelsea man, we have a bad coach, some bushy guy like this. We are losing every day. When we'll get another coach as Chelsea, we will win.
Things will change.
I rest my case.
I tell you. It's 9 o'clock. We have to stop there. But you know, Amunga, as always, you're very, very in depth with these matters. What's your final word to all the students joining Form 1?
Yes, we are not just Form 1. We're also joining junior secondary.
Oh yeah, there's that. By the way,
secondary are actually joining earlier than Form 1.
Oh yeah, and they've got new uniforms as well and things.
It's
and they're the first of their type.
Yeah, it's the first. It's confusion galore. Yeah. The teachers are not yet received the letters, those who are interviewed. I'm asking the government, please release the letters, please, because these teachers need to go to know where they are going to report, and they also need to be retrained, retooled. CBC is not just what we were taught at KU. We need again someone to teach us again, what is this CBC all about? Many of my colleagues don't even understand what CBC is all about. Forget these PR games and stunts that we have trained teachers. They have not been trained. Yeah. We need to retool.
Well, now the late Magoha had something to say about that.
Yes.
I remember his words on CBC. He said, CBC is here
to stay. And he prophesied and it is here to stay.
He told us it is here to stay.
And it's actually here to stay.
Look, now we are
the only problem we have is CBC is going nowhere. And I'm telling parents, CBC is not going nowhere.
Just to work out
the only thing is our leadership just needs to know how to equip, how to train teachers, how to
I have to ask you one more question before you go.
Yes.
Let me sneak this one in.
Sneak it.
The CS for trade today talked.
Oh.
He said something about universities.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
I heard it.
He said that they want to privatize them.
He actually said he's looking for partners from abroad.
Yeah.
Private
Your thoughts very quickly on that.
Oh, no, it's wrong. we can't. You know, we have already privatized our schools. Let me tell you, my brother, the worst thing we can do is privatize our education. Privateers and profiteers are the people who have messed our education sector. When we mess our public schools, then they build other private schools, and they want all of us to go to those private schools. And the child of a poor man, the child of the normal, ordinary man, has anabaki huko, because like now, the junior secondary schools for private schools, my wife teaches in Riara, I'm not ashamed to say it, and she's a good teacher. But you see, her school is ready. My wife was telling me the school is full of labs, all equipments are ready for the junior secondary. Where I come from, Mushikongolo Primary School, where there's supposed to be a junior, there is not even a desk already in that school for the junior secondary. They'll have to use the desks that they were using in Standard 6. So privatization is a bad thing in the education sector. We must think about, and I want to tell the Minister for Trade, please keep your lane. Don't come this side of ours of education. Stick to your lane, which is trade. Let us stick with this man of ours called Machogu. Let us know how to guide him, and let us not privatize our universities. It's a wrong idea.
I hear you. We're going to end on that note. Amunga AKHANYALABANDU, so glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Governance expert. To the family of the late CS Emeritus Professor Magoha, poleni sana. May God be with you. Good night and God bless you. See you next Tuesday.